Very good morning to all of you. In this third session, I'm going to explain you how to determine the bearing capacity of soil. In the previous class, we have studied in detail about classification of soil based on its properties, based on its size, that means particle size, and then we have studied about bearing capacity of soil, means definition for safe bearing capacity of soil and ultimate bearing capacity of soil, and even we differentiated or by the I told you the difference between safe bearing capacity of soil and ultimate bearing capacity of soil. So in this class we will study how to determine this safe bearing capacity of soil by using plate load test method. There are different methods available. So apart from this plate load test method, we can calculate safe bearing capacity by penetration test method and method of loading and presumptive values of so there are different methods, but in this syllabus it is just limited to plate load test method. Alright, so at this stage we know what is safe bearing capacity of soil. So this is the field test for determining the ultimate bearing capacity of soil. So here there are two options. There are two options for us to improve the loading conditions. Bearing capacity of the soil can be determined by placing steel plate at the foundation level, and what we do is I will go into brief once again what actually a plate load test method. In this plate load test method, the name itself indicating we are going to use a square plate of variable size. It may be 300 into 300, or sometimes it may be varied up to 750 into 750 mm as per our requirements. So we excavate the soil up to foundation level, that means at the required level we will go into excavate it, and then the plate is placed what I quoted now, 300 into 300 mm plate is placed at the foundation level, and then load is applied on the plate. There are different methods available. So apart from that, we place the plate on the foundation level and gradually we will going to apply the load from the top. The plate shrinks down gradually when we apply the load or when we increase the load gradually. At that point we will note what is the load and the area of the plate is known. So load divided by area, it gives the safe bearing capacity of bearing capacity of soil at that particular point. Perhaps we treat that obtained bearing capacity of soil for or over an area. So it may be 13 to 40 site, might be more than that. We treat the bearing capacity of the soil is same. Okay, fine. So now we got an idea how we are going to calculate this bearing capacity of the soil. So in this slide I want to read one or two sentences now. So normally what I explained, so you can read it out there. Record the settlement corresponding to each load increment. That means we will going to increase the load gradually by increments. The load is increased gradually till the plate sinks at rapid rate. That means the plate is gradually sinking. At one point of time, it definitely at its capacity, when it reaches its capacity, definitely it sinks in a rapid rate. Gradually it is increasing, and at the later stage it goes in a rapid rate. So at that point we will go into note the load. The total value of the load above the plate is noted and divided by the area of the steel plate. It gives ultimate bearing capacity of the soil. It doesn't give ultimate anyhow, so we are going to call it as ultimate or otherwise bearing capacity of the soil. So now you can observe in the schematic diagram cross section of plate load test. In examination, you people must write this sketch. So these may carry 5 marks. Totally it will be for 10 marks, and the first sketch it will be for 5 marks. So I hope you can see this clearly. A beautiful arrangement is there. So plate is placed. 1 minute, I will mark here. So here you can observe that the plate is placed at the bottom and jack is used. So by using that jack arrangement, we can apply load from the top. At the top you can see here. So here load is applied by two methods. One is by placing sandbags or any what we call weight can be applied in many ways. Either we can use sandbags, or otherwise we can place cement bags, anything. And otherwise, apart from this, we can use a reaction truss method. That means instead of this, we are going to introduce trusses. So steel truss we can introduce that instead of this. So we are going to increase the load gradually. So this is the 1 minute. So this part you can observe there, that is the excavated part. Soil is excavated up to a required depth. At the foundation level, at this level, what I am mentioning here, this is the foundation level. There we are going to keep the plate of a standard size. It varies from 300 to 750 mm. It may be square, 300 to 300, or sometimes it may be 750 to 750 into 750. That means there is a range. We can apply 600 into 600, 5 into 500. The plate size varies from 300 to 750. It is placed by the help of jack. We are going to apply load from the top by two methods. One will be by placing sandbags over a plank, or otherwise instead of this we are going to place reaction truss. So and later on in this you can observe dial gauges. I will show here by using indicators. So here they have written dial gauge is shown here. So this is a dial gauge they have placed. It notices a finite settlement also. That means if there is any settlement gradually or rapidly, it will going to show you the indications in the dial gauge. So that is important. That is the use of the dial gauge or application of the dial gauge. So by this we can get two types of parameters. One is area of the plate is known already, and load at which the bearing plate shrinks down very rapidly, that is also noted. By using those two parameters we can calculate as ultimate bearing capacity of the soil or bearing capacity of the soil. Right, in the next slide you can perfectly observe this is a reaction truss method. Instead of loading by sandbags over a plank, we have replaced that arrangement by a reaction truss. Steel truss ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ ನೀವು, that is a steel truss as used to apply load. So we will study the procedure in detail. Why? Because this is very important. So these you will going to write in the examination. Right. First one is earth is excavated at the site where foundation is to be laid. That means where we have to, that means the place at which we have to calculate safe bearing capacity or ultimate bearing capacity. At that site we will going to excavate up to foundation level. So here width of pit should be at least greater than 5 times width of test plate. That means if you are selecting 300 mm plate, if you are selecting 300 mm plate, it must be greater than 5 times of 300 mm, nothing but 5 3s are 15, that means 1.5 meter. The width of trench must be greater than 1.5 meters. If you are selecting 300 mm plate, definitely the trench width must be more than 1500 mm. That is the second point. And then at the trench we will going to mark the center. At the center a small depression is made which is equal to bearing plate. So we have made a trench of size 1500 mm. So we will mark the midpoint of that, that means 1500 divided by 2. So that means 750 mm. So from any end you will measure 750 mm. So we will mark the midpoint. At that midpoint we have to place the plate in such a way that center of the plate must be coincide with the center of the trench. That is important. At the center we will going to place the plate. That is the third point. The dimensions of the test plate is not greater than 25 mm. So that is about thickness. So dimension will vary from 300 to 750 mm as per our requirement. We can select any size, but thickness of the plate must be greater than 25 mm. Here 2.5 centimeter andre ishtu barutade andaju. So other thickness ishtu irbeku minimum. And then load is applied to the test plate through column centrally placed and load applied with the help of hydraulic jack. So what I explained in the previous slide or in the previous page, in that you have observed that a jack is placed exactly center over the plate, and then over that we have placed a plank. Over the plank we have placed sandbags. Sandbags it is athwa otherwise we can introduce reaction truss. Both are same. Fine. That means we will place the plate exactly center of the trench, and then over that we will place the hydraulic jack. By the use of hydraulic jack we can apply the load gradually. That is the purpose of this hydraulic jack. We won't apply the load drastically or suddenly, so we will apply the load gradually. Therefore we have introduced a hydraulic jack in between the plate and load. The load applied by using gravity loading of reaction truss method. There are two methods I have told you. One is gravity method, that is by using sandbags, or another is truss method. Right. The settlement of plate is noted by means of dial gauges mounted on independent datum bar. It means there is a connection between these two. That means loading, one plank will be there at the top, and there will be a datum bar will be there at the bottom. There will be a connection. When there is a settlement, definitely the dial gauge it will going to mark, or it will going to show the readings on it. So by using that we can have direct readings of loading as well as settlement. A graph is plotted against settlement and load intensity ton per meter square. So by using this graph you can observe here. So I will zooming it. So you can see load is plotted on x-axis and settlement is applied on y-axis. So here load is a known factor, settlement is unknown factor. We have to measure it. Load we have to apply, settlement will going to happen. So therefore x is independent and settlement is dependent. Dependent factor is always dependent on the independent factor. Load is known factor, settlement is an unknown factor. So for loading, different loading conditions, there will be different settlement. By using this graph we can analyze. The first graph I will show you, that is a first graph which is of red color. It is of cohesive soil. Cohesive means ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಾನು ಅಂಟತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಗುಣ ಇತ್ತಂದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು cohesive soil ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. You can observe here, for a minimum load it gets maximum settlement. That means bearing capacity of the soil is very less due to its property. So moisture content ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಅದರ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ ಬೇರೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ. So therefore I told you people that bearing capacity of these type of soil, cohesive type of soil or block cotton soil, is very less. And second graph what you are seeing, what you are observing is for cohesive less soil, cohesive soil and cohesive non-cohesive soil. What we say, non-cohesive soil second that was in black color. So you can observe there, it takes a moderate loading and it gets a minimum settlement. That means if you apply compared to this cohesive type of soil, it has a minimum, that means moderate settlement compared to this one, cohesive soil. The third one you can observe, which is in pink color, that is, it takes more load with a less settlement. It means that safe bearing capacity of that particular soil is very high. Safe bearing capacity or nothing but we can change it as ultimate bearing capacity, right? So there are different types of soils. For different types of soils we have compared the load versus settlement. So in this graph we can analyze, so for dense soil, or we can say rocky type of soil, so what we say, load bearing capacity is very high compared to cohesive type of soil or spreading type of soil. Sand is also classified as spreading soil, so there also it takes moderate loading for settlement. So this about graph. So by this arrangement we can able to determine bearing capacity of the soil. So here yesterday also I was explaining about this formula, stress is equal to force divided by area, maximum load divided by maximum load divided by area of steel plate. Maximum load means at that point a settlement will be very large. That means it gets settlement very drastically, so it is not gradual. Maximum load divided by area of steel plate, it gives bearing capacity of the soil in kilonewton per meter square, or otherwise we can measure it as ton per meter square. So load can be measured in many ways, kilonewton, ton, sometimes it can be measured in kgs, right? The standard measurement is kilonewton per meter square. Again, the obtained value is converted into safe bearing capacity of the soil by introducing a factor of safety. So here, in order to determine safe bearing capacity of the soil, bearing capacity of the soil divided by factor of safety, normally or usually we will take 2 to 3. More obviously we will take 2 as a factor of safety. So the value which is obtained is divided by 2 or 3, that means 2 or 2.5 or 3, any value. That value is defined as safe bearing capacity of the soil, that is the permissible capacity of the soil. That load can be applied on the soil. Kilonewton per meter square, again the unit will be same. So right, so these are how we obtain the safe bearing capacity of the soil. So this is very, very important. So what we have studied now, that is very, very important. Recall that how we obtained safe bearing capacity of the soil by plate load test method. So I have to write the sketch and the explanation and the purpose and the definition between ultimate load bearing capacity and safe bearing capacity of the soil. Right. Next point is, suppose the soil which is having very low strength or low SBC or safe bearing capacity, then definitely we have to improve by adopting some of the methods. Here we will going to study one by one methods of improving the safe bearing capacity of the soil. First one is very, very a simple one and is a known one, compacting the soil by compaction. There are two methods, one is hand compaction and second one is by driving piles. I will explain first one. By hand compaction, by spreading broken stones or gravel or sand or ramming well in the bed or trenches. What we do is, in the first sketch you can observe here, we will zoom it once again. You can observe here what he is doing by using a rammer. So rammer ಅಂದರೆ ಕುಟ್ಟೋದು ಮೇಲಿಂದ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ ನೀವು ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಮನೆ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಫ್ಲೋರಿಂಗನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಇದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಅಥವಾ ಅದನ್ನು ಮಡ್ಡನ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ ಫ್ಲೋರ್ ಹಾಕೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ. ಸೊ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ by using rammers. So we will going to pour the imported soil or otherwise rocky type of soil and we tamp it. ಅಥವಾ ram ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಥವಾ ಟ್ಯಾಂಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So that method is also defined as compaction, compacting ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So we are removing voids, air voids. So that is the process. By removing air voids, automatically the bearing capacity it will increase. Next one is by driving piles either of wood or concrete of driving or removed, sand is filled in ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಡೂ ಇಸ್, by using some mechanisms, machines, we drive the piles into the soil and then again we will going to remove it back, and again the hole is created there. That hole is filled by sand and rammed once again. So we are going to call this as sand piling. Sand piling. So very simple. First we will going to drive by using machines and then we will going to remove that piles, and instead of keeping there, so what we do, sorry for the disturbance. Okay, fine. So in the holes we will pour sand. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. Right, so this is sand piling method. The second point is increasing depth of the foundation. This is very common and it's quite simple. Why? Because as the depth of trench increases, safe bearing capacity increases, but it is totally uneconomical. Why? Because as we go deeper and deeper, the excavation cost will be very high. So we have to excavate, we have to use labor charges and lifting and leading charges, or otherwise by using machines. So again we have to incorporate higher cost for deploying machines or labors. So therefore this turns out to be more uneconomical. So therefore instead of this we go for another type of method. Anyhow, this is also one of the method. This method is uneconomical as the depth increases, SPC of the soil increases. As depth increases, definitely SPC of soil increases. So this is the second one. You can observe that in the sketch I have differentiated two types of buildings. One is a small house and another is a multi-story building. For multi-story building we excavate into deeper depths. So in case of simple buildings we normally go up to 5 feet or 6 feet, that's all. In case of multi-story buildings we go up to 10 feet or 15 feet. So it depends on the loading conditions. So this is one of the difference. And third point is increasing the width of foundation. And here also, so principle is very simple. So we increase width as well as depth, and definitely area increases. So by increasing the area we are reducing the stress. I will explain by reading on the board. You just observe that. So you see here, so the second point what we have studied is by increasing the depth. So if this is a trench, so if we increase the depth, then we can increase safe bearing capacity of soil. And the third point what we have studied is by increasing the width of foundation. Instead of this, we are increasing the width. I will increase the width, right? So this will be the second width, so we will call it as B1, and this will be, sorry, so this will be B1 and this is B2. So in this I have increased just a minute. So it will be more convenient to you people if you draw parallelly. You can observe here. So this is the first trench. So I will say this depth as D, okay, and breadth I will call it as B1. And the same trench, if I have a same depth, I will call it as D itself. And suppose if I increase the width, if I increase the width of this trench, right, so I will call this as B2. Okay. So I told you people that stress is equal to load divided by area. So here in this case load is same. In the both the cases load applied is P. Load applied is P. In this case the width is different. Here the width is B1 and here the width is B2. So therefore load is same. For the first case in area, so I will write, there will be a length for this, so I will take that also, length into B1. And the second case, P divided by, so it may not be visible to you, so I will write here itself, I will call this as, so this is 1 and this is also 1. So next sigma 2 for the second case, load will be same and we have changed the area. So here in this case P divided by length will be same and I have increased B2. So just compare it. So here width is increased, length is same, that means this is more. The numerator is same for both the cases. In the both the cases numerators are same. In denominator area is here comparison, area is less and area is more. As compare these two, and here sigma 1 is greater than sigma 2. That means we have decreased the stress applied. So in the by comparing the two cases, we have reduced the strength of, not strength, that is actual stress applied on the soil. So that was the main idea of this. By increasing width we can reduce the stress applied. Right. So I hope you people understood that. So by increasing the width, we are increasing the area. So area is at the denominator, numerator is force divided by area. When we increase the numerator, definitely the value gets reduced. So this was the concept. So the first one is by compaction, and second point is by increasing the depth, and third one is by increasing the width of foundation. Next, by providing drainage of soil. So these point is valid when we construct or mandate to construct in waterlogged areas. Waterlogged areas ಅಂದರೆ ನೀರು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ವಾಟರ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಅಂಥ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇದ್ದಂಥ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, we can provide trenches. So there I will read it out. Open joints may be laid just below the foundation. It is the best method of in waterlogged areas. In waterlogged areas we can have trenches at the bottom, at the foundation level, at the bottom itself. there the water can be drained off very easily. By draining off, we can restrict or we can retain the bearing capacity of the soil. So this is very applicable in case of sandy type of soil or in case of cohesive type of soil. This is best method. And the fifth one is by laying sheet piles over the ground or shallow foundation. So these applied in case of what we call spreading type of soil or sandy type of soil. We are restricting the spreading. Now spread ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ತಡಿಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ವಿಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಬೈ ಅಪ್ಲೈಯಿಂಗ್ sheet piles. So this is the best method for sandy type of soil or spreading type of soil. So there you can observe by using machine we are driving sheet piles. Sheet ಥರ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ನೀವು ಮನೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಶೀಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಿರಲ್ವ, ಯಾವುದು ಜಂಕ್ ಶೀಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ GI ಶೀಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದನ್ನು ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರ್ತದೆ thickness ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. So we drive into the ground and we restrict the spreading process. So these are one of the important one. And the sixth one is grouting the concrete into holes made on the ground. So in compaction method also I have explained you people that we will drive piles by using steel piles and then we remove it back and once again the hole is filled by using sand, that is sand pile anta karitivi. Instead of that we will grout andre yavadar ಒಂದು ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. Instead of sand we use a binding material like cement or concrete. Grouting the concrete into holes made on the ground, this gives more strength compared to sand piling. This is more costlier, uneconomical, maybe uneconomical, but in unavoidable circumstances where the soil is sandy type of soil, there we will going to use this type of grouting method. So next, seventh one is replacing the poor soil by imported soil to a depth of 1.5 meter filled in the layer by layer by ramming. These quite natural, we prefer this. If the soil property is not good, then definitely that soil is replaced by an imported soil, very good soil. Normally we replace this black cotton soil or cohesive soil or what we call, there are different types of soils which is of cohesive nature. It will be replaced by imported soil like red soil, and red soil mixed with rocky type of soil is replaced, and this is the best method and it's even economical compared to other types of options. So what we do is 1.5 meter up to 1.5 meter we excavate it, and that material is a soil that is replaced by this red soil. Next, this is a very uneconomical process. In unavoidable circumstances we only use it. Right. So there you can observe they are spraying some chemicals. What they are doing is just spraying on the soil, so it alters the properties of soil. It gets binded each other, the particles are binded together. Again it improves the safe bearing capacity of the soil. Normally we will going to use calcium chloride, or sometimes we can have another type of chemicals like soda silicate. That means diluted soda silicate or calcium chloride. So it is mixed with soil and is quite natural. That is the ninth one is by laying geotextiles. Sometime in material of construction we have studied this as a geotextile as well as geogrids. Usually we see in highway constructions, normally in order to retain the embankment ಅಂದರೆ ಮಣ್ಣು ತುಂಬಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನು ರಿಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಶೇಪನ್ನು, ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ವಿ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ದೀಸ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಜಿಯೋಗ್ರಿಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಜಿಯೋಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ಸ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಈವನ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಫ್ಲೈಓವರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಒಂದು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಎಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಟು ದ ಎಂಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಟು ದ ಸಾಯಿಲ್. There we place these type of geogrids or geotextiles. Even in case of canal construction, canal embankment ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. Directly we say that in order to retain the structure So in order to improve safe bearing capacity, then we can use these type of geotextile materials. So weak soil ittandre normally cohesive type of soil iddaga use ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So these are some of the methods to improve safe bearing capacity of soil. Right, safe bearing capacity of different soil. I told you people that for different soil, safe bearing capacity varies. So you can observe here, for rocks it will be 3240 kilonewton per meter square. Definitely it is uncomparable compared to other types of soil. You can compare here non-cohesive gravel or sand, it varies up to 450 kilonewton per meter square. And then in case of cohesive soil, medium clay or soft clay, you can compare it. Medium clay, for medium clay it will be 440 kilonewton per meter square, and then for block cotton soil it will be vary from 130 to 160. You can observe here, block cotton soil is giving very less bearing capacity of soil. Rocky type of soil gives 3240 kilonewton per meter square. So these are how it varies. And depth of excavation required for different types of soil is also given. You can observe here, for black cotton soil you have to excavate up to 5 meters. For hard rock it is just sufficient to excavate up to 1.2 meter, and for soft clay it is up to 3 meter, and for fine sand it is up to 1.8 meter. That means you can observe here, for different types of soil safe bearing capacity varies. Accordingly the depth of foundation required is also varies. And types of foundation, in the next classes we will study different types of foundation. Just observe a glance it. There are different types of footings and foundations there. As we written here, spread footing and combined footing, strap footing, in deep pile foundation. So we will see in the next classes. But anyhow, again what I am saying is, according to a type of soil, a suitable foundation or footing is laid in order to have required bearing capacity of soil. So this was about this session. Today what I have explained is how to determine safe bearing capacity of soil by using a standard method as per your syllabus, that is plate load test method. And then I have explained about variation of safe bearing capacity of soil for different loading conditions, that is by using graph for different type of soil, different safe bearing capacity. And then I have explained about how to improve safe bearing capacity of soil. And then fourth part is safe bearing capacity for a different soil. For different soil, safe bearing capacity, and then depth of foundation, and how types of foundations varies. So this is what we have studied in this class. So this ends up your first chapter. Please study this. This is very, very important and easy one. And here itself I will going to stress once again. Here for 10 marks they will going to ask explain safe bearing capacity, and then how we will going to determine safe bearing capacity of soil by plate load test method. Explanation keltare for 10 marks. You have to write it, prepare now itself. And second maybe classification of soil based on its size, that's one part, and classification of soil based on its properties, and classification of soil as per ISCS, that is Indian Standard Classification System, what I explained in the second video, IS 1498 1970. So that you have to explain. That's itself is important. And one more important thing is you have to explain methods of improving safe bearing capacity. That what we have explained now. Okay, there are 9 methods. We have to explain all the 9. So this ends up your first chapter. Here itself I wind up the class. Thank you. And the next video I will try to shoot means I will try to record the second chapter, it is foundation. Okay, if you have any doubts please chat with me in WhatsApp. Otherwise, thank you very much.